going to be. And so then, this means that you're not victims of a scheme of things, of a mechanical world, or of an autocratic God. The life you're living is what you have put yourself into. Only you don't admit it, because you want to play the game that it's happened.
That I heard, and remember, I was told at the time that if I disclosed this, that I would be killed, and I ended up putting it in the book anyway. The story was that this guy, they finally said, okay, we're going to bring you to the United Nations and share your message with the world. Let's get you on this flight. They bring him on this flight, and instead of bringing him to the United Nations, they shot him repeatedly, and then actually had some kind of meat grinder device, and basically like a bandsaw, I guess, and sawed up his body into a whole bunch of pieces, put him in these very like radioactive shielded containers, and then had all these fighter jets dock with the plane and fly his body parts to all corners of the world, where then these containers turned them into ash. And they thought that maybe this would defeat him, like that his body somehow, the tissue was necessary. So if they destroyed all the tissue in all these places across the world, maybe they could defeat him. Well, he then regenerated in their offices and was fully fine, fully intact. But the sad part is that he said, you guys so badly do not want me to be here that I am not going to be able to do any more. You're going to get what you want, but bear in mind that in the future, many others like me will be coming, and when they do, you will not be able to stop us.
Wow.
I think something's falling from the sky. Like right there. It was on a trajectory going like that, but now it's just going straight down. What the heck? Planes don't do that, right? Now it's like curving. The tail is now getting really small, but it's still heading straight down. It's like it's getting shorter and shorter of a tail. Is that like a meteor falling from the sky? Like, am I crazy to think that? The camera can't even pick it up anymore. It disappeared like right there.
You're familiar with David killing Goliath?
Yep, here we go. What you got for me?
Oh,
What's the nugget you got here?
Oh, there's a nugget in there.
Go ahead.
David goes out to take lunch to his brothers, the Philistine giants standing out there challenging the whole army. This little ruddy-faced kid says, "Oh, that big old thing think he is, challenge my God like that." He says, "Shh, shh, shh, you're going to cause a disturbance." He said, "Man, I could take him." Well, word got to Saul, the king. They called him in and tried to give him the Saul's armor. That didn't work. He said, "I can't do this with this stuff. I ain't never proved that. I'll take what I know with my slingshot." He said, "Boy, that sling ain't going to help you." He said, "God delivered a bear and a lion to me while I was watching my daddy's sheep. God's got my back." So the Bible says that he went out past the river Jabbok and picked up 5 smooth stones. If he already knew that God was going to give Goliath to him, why did he pick up 5 stones?
Kind of just taking action on the faith? Why?
If you study your Bible long enough, you'll find out Goliath had 4 brothers.
Wow. So one for each one?
He had a rock for each one in case them 4 brothers stepped up.
Sheesh. That's a nugget.
Bingo, that's a nugget.
Oh my god, I didn't know that! Huh, see, the movie is interesting.
sells wooden ties.
See, that is a good
This is a
time.
story about the time my brother saw a skinwalker and didn't react like a normal person would. I grew up in a haunted house, and I tell stories of things that happened to me and my family members and friends, and this is the story about my brother and the night that a skinwalker was in his yard. It's important to know that I overreact and my brother completely underreacts. He calls me, he's just very chill, and he said, "Hey, I just saw the weirdest thing in my yard. I'm going to tell you about it, and you tell me what you think." So I'm like, "Okay, what'd you see? What was it?" And he said, "Well, there was a helicopter flying over my house," which is normal. That happens a lot around here. And I said, "Okay, yeah, and?" And he said, "Well, they had the spotlight out, and they were shining it on my front door." It was weird. So I go to the front door and I'm looking at them and they're looking at me, and then they just kind of circle around a little bit and then they leave. So I figure that something must be outside if they're out there like circling, like what were they looking for? So now he's got my attention because I'm like, what were they looking for? And he lives out in the country, but not like way out in the country. Like he lives on a main like road, right? And he has neighbors and stuff, but he's kind of like out in the middle of nowhere. So of course he takes his when he goes outside, right? Well, it has a light on it. So he said he's like scanning around looking when he lands on this thing. What kind of thing? I don't know. It was weird. Just that sentence alone already had me like on high alert, because for Grant to say something's weird, and I knew it was about to be really weird. So he starts to describe it. So when the light hits it, it's on all fours, right? But it has like glowing eyes, and its face looked like a human face kind of, and it had no hair on it, and it was like this slick, wet looking thing. Me being me that knows everything about like ghosts and paranormal and weird stuff, I immediately knew what he was talking about. Go on. So I'm looking at it. It's looking at me. But then it stands up. Stands up? Like stood up? Yeah, it stands up like a person. And its front arms were like long. And it's gaunt looking. And then it turns, runs, and jumps the neighbor's fence. That fence is like, what, 15, 20 feet tall? Yeah, and it was like 7, 8 feet tall. What do you think that was? Just very nonchalant. So I yell into the phone, "Oh my God, you saw a skinwalker." What's that? What'd you say it was? A skinwalker? What's a skinwalker? Before I send you a picture of it, I'm going to need you to draw it for me. Draw it, send it to me, and I'll send you what it looks like. Let's send it at the same time because I want to see if it's what I think it is. My brother is super artistic, so I give him a second, and he draws this and sends it to me. So he said this is what it started out as. And then it stood up to this. So then I send him this. I send him this, and he says, yeah, that's it. That's what it is. Huh? That's all you got to say to that? Well, I mean, that's weird. I've never heard of that. Huh, how about that? All right, well, I'm going to bed. And he hung up.
Oh, that's super weird. Extremely weird.
Hi, did you ever want to test if your honey is pure? Let me show you a simple way to do that. A little bit of water in a bowl. Take a spoon of honey. Add it to the bowl. And gently swirl the water. Pure honey will form a lattice. Fake honey will never form a lattice because honey has memory. Just swirl it, gently, give it some time, and if it's pure, you will actually see the beehive lattice forming. There we go, I'm beginning to see it already. Voila, there we are. This honey that we have here is pure honey. There we go. If this honey was fake, it would never form that lattice.
Yeah, we don't need to test it. We get it straight from the beehive.
This video was shot on the last day of our Caribbean cruise aboard the Royal Caribbean Allure of the Seas cruise ship, in which it encountered very rough seas when the ship passed through the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle storm didn't make anyone on board nervous because the Allure of the Seas is the largest cruise ship in the world and can easily handle these common Caribbean storms. On the topic of the Bermuda Triangle, some scientists now believe that the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle may be solved. Hexagonal clouds creating intense 170 miles per hour air bomb winds are perhaps be to blame for an alarming number of disappearing ships and planes. What do you think?
You guys, would you try to go there?
Okay, so a lot of you guys are wondering how they build that oil rig in the ocean with all those crazy waves. And I can explain. I was an industrial engineer for about 3 years. I drew a little diagram just so you guys can get the gist of what's going on. Easier to explain. This is the ocean right here. Everyone's chilling, having a good time living life. This is like the Earth's atmosphere. I drew the moon for reference. Basically what we do, this is the oil rig. We build it offshore. We take it up with a really, really big helicopter. We take it up into the sky. And then once we find the point we want to set it into the ground at, we'll drop it from this height. And we all know, we've all played like lawn darts or something. You drop it really high, it's going to go, it's going to stick right in there. It's not going to budge. That thing is really deep. So when the waves hit it, it's not going to move. It's going to stay like this. We might damage some things on the floor. Of course, when we start drilling oil, you know, all of these guys go bye-bye. They get pretty sick. Well, yeah, we're okay to do that by the government. That's how it works, guys.
No, it's today's SpongeBob's house. Just like that.
Well, fun fact 14. Did you know that the average English person has traveled to 10 countries? The average German to 8. The average French person has traveled to 5 different countries, but only 29% of Americans have ever left the United States. Have you ever left your country?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, he's angry. Alright, jeez, let's put him back before he...
Wow, holy cow.
The Wolfeel Whisperer's back again. Look at this beautiful Wolfeel right here. Check him out. Look at these patterns. So crazy. He was in here, he saw an underwater crab buffet, and he wanted free snack. And we got to get him back to his mate. You know, they mate for life. Such an important part of our ecosystem. They eat all the weak and diseased crab, and they keep all the populations healthy. These things are awesome. I'm trying to get this guy out of here.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, he's angry. Alright, jeez, let's put him back before he smacks us too much. Whoa, look at him swim down. How beautiful is that? Wow.
Oh, this has some wonderful humors. Good vibes, man.
Take your breath away? Took your breath away, right? Did it take your breath away? Take your breath away? Took your breath away, right? Did it take your breath away?
Ah, that's very creepy.
I have decided that Americans are the only ones who might not realize that they're foreigners.
As someone who lives in Canada and worked in retail for 15, 16 years, 4 hours from the border, I will let you know that many, many times we had Americans come up to the cash register and ask if they could use US cash. And normally that's not a problem, but we don't carry US cash on hand. So we would take your US cash, convert it with our converter into Canadian, and give back Canadian change. The giving back of Canadian change, after the second time being screamed at over it, I was like, never again. I will take your US cash, but before I even process it, and before I say yes to this question, I would say, we will be giving you back Canadian change. Are you okay with that? And if they were not, I would say, you can scamper on down the stairs or the escalator, and you can go and change it at the foreign exchange office in the mall. I did also, like, I worked at a golf course, I worked at a coffee shop, I worked at a restaurant. The restaurant was the hardest because there's no foreign exchange office at where the restaurant was. So I would say, I can take it, but I can only give you Canadian change. And it's the exchange rate that day, not the exchange rate that you got at the bank that you were at whenever you were traveling, who knows where. It was a challenge. And I have American family, and they are all very kind. But sometimes there are signs that are there for a reason. And I think it's because people just forget that Canada is a different country, right? They just don't think about the fact that, yes, they've gone across the border. They just assume that we'll take their money, and we'll take it.
but there's conditions behind it because we don't use that. We use Canadian cash in Canada.
I didn't know that. Oh my god.
One of the funniest things about Christianity and the so-called Christians is that the author and manipulator of their Bible, who is King James, who was a Freemason, also wrote the book of demonology. And if you actually read the King James Bible, you'll notice all kinds of rituals and sacrifices that the Christian God instructs their followers to participate in, which for the most part would be considered demonic or satanic. Like, for example, in the Old Testament, God asks Abraham to sacrifice his son. So God literally is saying, hey, kill your son. How satanic and demonic is that for a God to be instructing? Think about it if it was your son. If some God all of a sudden appeared in the clouds, like the way that the Christian God is portrayed, and said, I want you to kill your child, kill your son or daughter, and sacrifice it to me. How would that make you feel? Would you do it? Let me know in the comments if you would do it if God came and asked you to kill one of your sons or daughters in his name. Because that's what the Christian God instructs one of his followers to do. And then later in the New Testament, you have one of their other gods whose name is, well, they call him Jesus, but that wasn't even his real name. We can get more into that later. But there's a part where he instructs his disciples to drink his blood and eat his flesh, which is cannibalism. So would you consider cannibalism, like eating the flesh of another human, or blood drinking? Wouldn't you consider that satanic and demonic? I mean, we've got human sacrifice, we've got cannibalism, we've got blood drinking, and it's just very odd to me that the same guy, King James, who edited and manipulated and censored the Christian Bible, also wrote this book right here, Demonology. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments.
Oh my god. Oh, that's
I'm not a clone. I'm not a clone. I know a lot of people were saying I was cloned out there.
Okay, Jamie Foxx, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if you guys have seen him accept this award. I'm not saying he is a clone. Take a look and observe for yourself. And you be the judge.
I've been through something. I've been through some things. You know, it's crazy. I couldn't do that 6 months ago. I couldn't actually walk. I'm not a clone. I'm not a clone. I know a lot of people were saying I was cloned out there. Boy, y'all ain't shit. That's a clone. That ain't no goddamn James. That's a clone.
Okay, so let's zoom in and take a look at his hands here. You'll notice when he speaks about cloning, his hands gets real fidgety.
I'm not a clone. I'm not a clone. I know a lot of people were saying I was cloned out there.
Now, we can dismiss this as a joke or dismiss this as nothing, but proof is right there. He got real nervous when speaking about cloning. So let's continue.
So it feels good to be here. I cherish every single minute now. It's different. You know, it's different. You know, it's beyond. I wouldn't wish what I went through on my worst enemy, because it's tough when it's almost over, when you see the tunnel. I saw the tunnel. I didn't see the light. It was hot in that tunnel too. I don't know where I was going. Shit, am I going to the right place? I just seen the devil going, come on, nigga. It's when we were in Chicago and I was trying to get myself together and no one knew where I was. No one knew what was going on. And I had to go to this facility so I could work out a little bit. It was checking me in because I had my face covered, you know, because I didn't want nobody to know. And at one point she says, well, baby, I'm going to have to see your face if I'm going to have to sign you in here. Now, I run a tight ship in here, baby. I'm going to have to see your face. No, black women don't give a shit. They're like, I need to see his face.
And I took the mask down and she saw me. She said, Lord, she said, Lord have mercy, Jesus. And I knew that gave me an indication that once I did get out of all of this, I was gonna be all right. But I have a new respect for life. I have a new respect for my art. And I don't want to sound like, oh, this is gonna happen to you and shit, be careful. You know, it's not that. It's just when you realize that it could be over like that, I just gotta, your grandmother used to say, testify. Because as I got out from under what I'm going through, you know, the powers that be, and you know, your grandmother say the devil is busy trying to shape and form my perception, man. Y'all, it's a fantastic journey. It was a fantastic journey.
Oh, what do you think about that speech?
I challenge you to tell me in one sentence what this device does.
Tell us what it does and how it works, if you could.
Yeah, so this is AI Pin. It's the world's first AI-powered mobile compute device. It works by using natural language, a touch on the touchpad, and gesture, and is capable of doing just about everything that you can do on a conventional phone, with a lot of new things that use things like contextual compute, optical sensors to bring in what you see around you when you want it. It's privacy first, so it's not always recording. It's actually just doing things when you want it on demand.
He said a lot of things that made no sense. Contextual computing. This interview is for consumers to see this product and say, wow, I want that. I'm more confused.
But it's all mostly voice, some hand.
So this is a display when you need it. It's just capable of doing a lot of things, but it's not something that you need because the device is actually built to be multimodal. That means you can use it however you want.
Like what? Like what? Tell me something you would use that for.
So you use it for just about anything. Like
You can use it for anything. Like what? You can use it for anything.
Hey Siri, tell me my email because I don't want the whole room to hear my email. So how does that work in this context?
So the device is powered by an AI-powered OS, which does a lot of those things that you would manually do underneath the table during a meeting for you, figures out who's really important, and then elevates those to you through a beacon that lets you know that a colleague or a family member is in touch or something that's urgent that's come up. And at that point, you can just raise your hand up and you can see what's important right there.
Why is that better than the watch?
Really good question. Why is that better than the watch? And why is it better than just using your phone? Why should I pay $700 to get this device where my device that I have already does all these things?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing here is that it's AI powered, and so it's doing a lot of that heavy lifting for you. So you just actually engage with it when it's really important.
What does that mean? It's AI powered and you just engage with it when it's important. What does that mean? Why do I need this thing?
Seriously, if I'm in a meeting and I'm talking to somebody and all of a sudden it does what? It buzzes or something, and I know that's...
Now, it might sound that she's being condescending with her questions, but a lot of consumers are going to have these exact same questions. But seriously, how does this thing work? Because I'm watching this and I'm confused. How does it work and why do I need it?
At the heart of it, we believe that AI is really going to drive the next generation of compute, but that in order for you to fully get the power of it, we needed to rethink everything.
What does that mean? AI is the future. We need to rethink everything. And I think the device could actually have some things that it can do that the iPhone can't do, but they're not giving any examples.
Like AI allows all of that to disappear. So the way that our platform works, it's both the device and a platform called Cosmos, is that we do all of the heavy lifting in terms of that. All you have to do is ask for something and we do it for you.
It's so vague. We do all the heavy lifting. You just ask for something and we'll give it to you. What is this, Amazon? What kind of device is this? What does it do?
It's $699 for this model, and it's $799 for the one that she's got, and that's the complete system. Comes with everything, plus additional accessories that we've made.
The first thing I'm thinking is, why are there two models? What's the difference? What does complete system mean?
And you can use AI to actually send messages and craft messages so that you don't have to do all of the work. If I can send a message and craft it using AI and also get notifications.
I don't see how Apple can't just do the same thing in 6 months. I don't see how AI is such a unique feature. AI is everywhere. Every company is going to be using AI. What makes AI such a unique feature of this device when every other device has AI too?
model? Is this somebody else's model? Are you building on top of something?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we have our own models that we run. We also use OpenAI as a reasoning engine. Our platform allows for any kind of LLM to really plug into it, which is really important. That gives you choice eventually, and also means that we'll be able to deploy into different markets when we get there with different kinds of LLMs that just really work in the regions.
Very location specific or region specific.
Or domain specific
Yeah.
as
And
well.
our goal has always been to be the platform for everyone. And that
I left with more questions about what this thing is, more concerns about what this thing is, than I left with enthusiasm. The biggest challenge they have is they're unable to simplify what the device does for the average person and why they should use it on top of their already existing cell phone. It can do anything is not a unique value proposition. What do you think of this device? Let me know in the comments.
Oh, that is very confusing. I'd like to hear this or that.
Literacy, Lesson 5, Ouroboros. Depicting a snake eating its own tail, the Ouroboros in modern times tends to represent infinity. However, by diving into the origins of the symbol, we can learn more about it in depth. The origins of the symbol are traced back to ancient Egypt, although nobody truly knows the origin of the symbol. One of the earliest uses of the symbol is in Tutankhamun's tomb in the enigmatic book of the Netherworld. The symbol was also used by ancient Greeks, Gnostics, and Hermeticists. In Greek, aura means snake and boros means eating. To the ancient Egyptians, it represented the sun setting and rising each day, eternal life, and immortality. It was also used to represent the chaos that envelops the world and the resulting order and renewal that comes out of that chaos. The ancient Greeks gave the symbol new meaning in Gnosticism and Hermeticism. It represents the infinite cycle of death and rebirth. Gnostics also saw this as a symbol of the union of the two distinct parts of a human being, the spiritual/divine aspect and the earthly aspect. In Hermeticism, it represents the cyclic nature of death and rebirth, destruction and creation, transformation. Just like the act of eating and digestion itself is both a destructive and creative process necessary for life. Follow me for more symbolism and decodes like this, and if you feel like I missed something, drop it in the comments.
Oh my god. Oh, that is great, man.
Hello, Otis. Brought you something. How we doing? What is all over your face? You were playing in your pond again. Would you like a blueberry? No. What do you want? Okay.
Oh, that's a wonderful animal there. You see, humans are very wonderful. And when you see them living in peace with animals, it's always very lovely, man. With all those videos that have passed, man, you can learn a lot of things. And sometimes get surprised and even smile. See, you can leave a comment there of what has happened to you along those videos. You see, thanks to all those people that has been hitting the like button and leaving a comment there. Much love to yourself and respect. You are loved and respected. Just keep watching, man. Good vibes till the end. Let's continue.
In South Africa, when there's your accelerator, your brake, your clutch. Close it for me, Norman. when you have to lock it up. That's so funny.
Hey, what are the problem require water solution?
What do you got? You got your horns?
Oh, that's nice and lovely just to see that, man.
Sorry if this is inappropriate, but I have been far too curious for too long. What happened to this man's eyes? And it's not just him. I see this sometimes. Here's another man. What happened to his eyes? I feel like I've been paying attention to people's eyes for a long time, and there is something mysterious there for sure. Let's just say I've never seen a good man with these types of eyes. Ask anyone that knows me. I bring this up because I'm so stuck on it. I feel like there's more there that I just don't have the answers to. Also, have you heard how narcissistic people can have dead eyes? When I heard that, I was shocked because my ex-husband, a very narcissistic man, has some dead eyes. And what is going on with that? Why is that the case? Like the dead eyes, does that signify when someone's abandoned themselves? Like what is up with the eyes that we just saw? Like what is going on? If anyone has any answers, it would be a relief to me, honestly. If this is a stretch or some type of like medical condition, I am sincerely sorry, but I feel like there's something there.
You have got to stay away from people who try to keep you small, people who devalue you, people who diminish you, people who do not want to see you grow, people who take away your joy. I call them joy thieves. When you're really, really happy and they laugh at you or they make some snide comment, you need to stay away from those people and just stop telling them about your dreams. You need to create boundaries with them. You know, you don't have to cut them out of your life completely. That's completely up to you. But you need to have boundaries with these people because they are projecting their own shame onto you. They are sucking your energy and your high vibration, your high frequency away from you. And that is preventing you from stepping forward and taking up space and following your dreams and bringing your light and shining your light into the world and lifting everybody up around you. So again, you need to create boundaries with these people. Whether or not you want to cut them out, that's completely up to you. But you need to stop telling them about your dreams. You need to create space because you are absorbing that energy. You are absorbing it energetically. You are absorbing it into your body, and it's creating this really dense layer of shame, this really just low, dense, heavy energy that is preventing you from getting up into your heart space and from sharing your dreams and from sharing your joy and from sharing your light with the world.
We explored the actual name of Jesus. The English name Jesus is a transliteration of how his name appeared in Greek, Jesus, which itself is a transliteration of the Aramaic name Yeshua. Almost all of the modern names of Jesus in almost every modern language derive either from the Greek Jesus, like his Latin and Amharic names, or directly from the Aramaic. But there's one very prominent exception, one version of his name that has perplexed scholars for generations, the Arabic name of Jesus as it appears in the Quran. To help unlock this mystery, I've enlisted the help of Dr. Ahmed Al-Jalad, a professor at The Ohio State University and an expert in pre-Islamic Arabic.
Unlike Christian Arabic uses an Arabicized form of the name Yeshua, and it comes into Christian Arabic as Yesur, which is completely expected. But Jesus' name in the Quran is, depending on the reading tradition, the most common reading tradition, Hafs an Asim, renders his name as Isa, with a ayn at the beginning, a long ya, a sin, and a final long vowel. But when we look at the Quranic spelling, the consonantal text of the Quran, the name is spelled ayn, ya, sin, ya. And some reading traditions render it as Isa as well.
As a non-Arabic speaker, I'm not particularly good at pronouncing that initial ayn, a letter produced in the back of your throat called a pharyngeal consonant. I'll try my best throughout this video, but rely on Dr. Al-Jalad for the correct pronunciation. So the name of Jesus in Quranic Arabic is Isa. But the problem is, unlike his Arabic name as pronounced by Arab Christians, his Quranic Arabic name has no obvious linguistic connection to the Aramaic Yeshua. The ayn is at the beginning instead of the end, the vowels don't correspond. So how did this transition happen? Some have argued that the pronunciation may have changed over the centuries as it was transmitted from Aramaic into Quranic Arabic, but linguists are not satisfied with any explanation for how that change may have happened. The simple fact of the matter is, the Quran was our only evidence. There was no earlier attestation of this name, Isa, to help us piece together its origins. Until now. Maybe. A few years ago, while surveying with his research team in northern Jordan, Dr. Al-Jalad made a discovery that may have cracked the case. A Safavidic inscription that might bear a pre-Islamic version of the Quranic Arabic name of Jesus. Safavidic is an ancient South Semitic script that people in southern Syria and northern Jordan used to write all the various dialects of Old Arabic, which are closely related to Quranic Arabic. In fact, many of the 28 Safavidic letters correspond to modern Arabic letters. Scholars think the script was used between the 1st century BCE and the 4th century CE. give or take a few centuries. So this is during the late Roman period and earlier during the reign of the Nabatean kingdom, an Arab kingdom that built the famous ruins of the city of Petra. Here are a few examples of Safavidic inscriptions on screen. These inscriptions were discovered in what's now known as the Black Desert, a region of thousands of square kilometers of volcanic rock spanning southern Syria and northern Jordan. And although it looks like a desolate place, humans have lived in this region since the Neolithic period, and it was well traveled by traders and nomads during the Nabatean and Roman periods. Many of these people would stop along their journeys and carve Safavidic inscriptions on the rocks. One database of Safavidic inscriptions records over 50,000 texts. So this supposedly desolate basalt desert is actually a huge wealth of archaeological data. Dr. Al-Jalad and his team discovered the inscription in question during the 2019 survey season. It was situated nearby a watering hole, potentially a rest station on a trade route. As you can see on screen, the text winds back and forth, probably because whoever inscribed it was trying to avoid other inscriptions on the same stone. So what does the inscription say?
It contained a prayer to a deity that had not yet appeared in the corpus, and the prayer itself was also unique. So this man named Wahbel, which could translate to gift of God, gift of El, recorded being at this place and grieving for his uncle. And then he asks a deity that is spelled in Safavidic Ain Sin Ya, okay, so very close to Quranic Isa, Ain Sin Ya, to Ansurhu min kafirika, so to help him against those who deny you.
So to summarize, we have an invocation here inscribed by a man grieving for his recently deceased uncle. After the formula, he ends his invocation with a prayer. Based on the grammatical case and vocabulary of the prayer, the man seems to be calling upon a deity that Al-Jalad argues is compatible with the Quranic Isa.
Ain Sin Ya is the way you would spell Isa in Safavidic, because the Safavidic script does not write internal long vowels. So when a long vowel occurs inside of a word, it's not represented graphically. But the final Ya is present, and that corresponds to the Arabic spelling of the name Isa in the Quran, which is Ain Ya Sin Ya. All right, so this is a one-to-one match.
Oh, my friend, that's not much
Anyone
wrong.
else see the paranormal activity that the TikTok user Honeybee for real caught on her mom's security cam footage? It's so weird. So I'm going to play it for you guys and let me know what you think.
So about 1:30 a.m., I get a notification that there's motion at my mom's house.
Motion detected at the family room.
So when I look at the cameras, I'm looking and I see in the family room, there's like a light. But I instantly think, okay, that's like a spider web, a bug or something. But I keep watching and I notice that this is like floating. It begins to turn into like one solid object and then shit got real. Look at this.
What the fuck was that? I've watched a lot of paranormal activity videos and none of them have ever quite been like this. She's a lot braver than me. She actually winds up going in the room and using the phone and like approaches this entity or orb or whatever it is. And she's like petting it.
I can only see it on the camera. So I'm looking on my phone trying to find where it is.
Yeah, I see it. Do y'all see her petting it?
Oh shit, we right at it. Come on, Brandon, get out right here. Come on.
You can catch the full video on her page, but let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Oh my god, is that real? Ah, what?
So my wife wanted a new vacuum cleaner, so I picked this up. It's an automated, so instead of sweeping, what you do is you hold on to this. So I think she's really going to love this for a Christmas gift. All you need to do is you just unscrew these to pop it out to clean everything out. It doesn't use any electricity. It's really a great use.
Ah, oh my god. I've never used all of this.
I'm giving a new quote to the whole world today. A beetroot a day keeps the blue pill away. To the science part of it. Beets have very high nitrate content. Now don't compare the beetroot gummies, although I'm making it and you'll probably am bashing my own future product, or beetroot chews. They are nothing. in comparison to the real beets, They're cheap, they're available at your farmer's market, they're available literally all year round. These loaded nitrates in the beets convert into nitric oxide in your body. If you are looking to increase your vascular health, which means circulation of the blood, there is nothing better than nitric oxide. And when consumed, nitrates convert into nitric oxide. It helps relax and dilate the blood vessels, which means lower blood pressure and improve blood flow to all your body, all your tissues, all your muscles. So basically, you are transporting more oxygen to your cells. With any metabolism in a cell, oxygen goes in, metabolism takes place, carbon dioxide is pushed out. The more oxygen that can go in, the healthier your cells. That is why in yoga we do pranayama, the breathing exercises. I've seen a lot of people fall for all those herbs and supplements. Everything might have a little effect, but there is no better effect than the beets that you get at farmer's market. 2 side effects. Number 1, they make your hand really red. Number 2, when you go to the restroom the next day, it seems like there's blood in your stool. It's only the beet color. Trust me, the benefits are hundreds of times more. And if you boil it a little bit, you can eat easier in case you don't like it raw. I eat it raw. So guys, heart health, brain health, increase of oxygen and blood flow, stamina, more exercising power, help in neuropathy cases, go for a beet. It's a cheap option, so many of you will probably discard it. Many of you will not take it seriously. But I'm telling you, try it for 1 month. 1 month. 90% of you are going to come and thank me. If you are a man, your life is going to change. Trust me. Give me 1 month. Listen to me, guys. Listen. A beetroot a day keeps the blue pill away.
That is interesting. Very much interesting because I like this.